that's been added now that,
Can I just say, I don't have the variance showing, I do have the budget
Well,
and the
yeah,
year-to-date,
sorry.
but I can put the variance in if you'd like to see that.
I think just the comparison to budget is,
Yep, that's all.
cause we can extrapolate.
Okay, yeah, cause it shows year-to-date and then it shows the budget,
yes.
but if you, going forward, if you want the variance to show, you just let me know and I can have that.
Okay, thank you for getting that,
Mm,
the budget part in.
absolutely.
Okay. That the financial reports for May 27th, 2024 be received as presented. Counselor Seiferman. Everybody had a chance to review that, any questions or comments? All those in favor? That the reports of senior administrative officials recorded as items 9.1 to 9.2.11 be received and filed. Councilor Vic. All those in favor? That the corporate services department monthly report be received and filed. Councilor Seiferman. We'll pass this off to Maria.
So as, I guess as we're rolling into summer, things are sort of seeming like they're slowing down a little bit, so that's good, we're just getting ready for, tax levy. The roll closed today, so that, presents a opportunity to move into the next steps of that. We had Yonki here for our office visit, they had scheduled 3 days, they were here for 1, so that was, I thought that was a good thing. And then we kinda had a little bit of a surprise, we were approached by LWA Tax, a company from BC, to come in and do a historical tax review for GST and PST over the last 4 years, and they were able to discover some funds that we had been overpaid. Actually got another email today for another batch of invoices that they discovered where PST was paid in an error as well, so we've got another refund coming back on that one as well. So the refund is an application that gets sent into Saskatchewan government, they review it, and then if it's approved, then we get the refund. So the first refund that's been sent in, looks like everything is good, so we're just waiting for the money to come back, so that was good news. It's always nice to get money back.
Alright, thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor? Carried. That the community services department monthly report be received and filed. Councilor Vic. And we'll pass it off to Derek.
Thank you. I don't really have nothing to add to it at all. If you have any questions, go ahead.
Okay. Jeff?
This kiosk I'm interested in, are we thinking of other locations to put them up for engagements, other than just the tourism center?
Right now it's at the tourism center because we have to have certified Wi-Fi and it's it's based on the tourism market.
I don't know how many people are going through that place, but still, okay. Could we put it in, say, the arena?
That's where the plan was to go, but our Wi-Fi doesn't work. That was when we started with it, so now we moved it from the arena to there.
That would be cool.
I'm not putting a kiosk in the pool. It's not really geared for the age demographic of the swimming pool or the market really, so.
No more questions.
Do we have any other questions for Derek? Alright, all those in favor? It's carried. That the land planning department monthly report be received and filed. Jeff?
Been working with Code Red on the automated call system. We should be able to start using that in July. And council may get a couple texts in the coming weeks about just a test. We'll be doing some tests here in the office and checking out the system, make sure it all works right. And then we'll also set up some groups so you could have like all the staff to be notified if we wanted, or all of council to be notified, so we could send notifications specifically to staff or council if something's important right through that system, if there's some kind of an emergency thing. And then did training with Gavin, so he's starting to get pretty comfortable with the building and development permits, so that's really good. That's been helping a lot. And he's also done the building bylaw, so we're going to do a final review on that and then send it off to building standards. Hopefully get that updated. And that's about it.
Thank you, Jeff. Do we have any questions or comments for Jeff? Okay, all those in favor? It's carried. That the Protective Services Department monthly report be received and filed. Councilor Stewart. And we'll pass it off to Paul.
I guess I start off, I apologize, there's no pictures in this one. I feel kind of like I've let you all down. Lots of big graphs, but nothing else. I guess just as per normal, as things warm up, there's more cats that are roaming around, so we're getting more complaints regarding those. Dogs running at large is actually topping off. Lots of requests for cat traps. On a bylaw side, lots of nuisance properties as things are starting to thaw out. We're starting to get on those. Occupational health and safety, we actually did finally get our fit testing kit in. It was a little bit late getting in, so we did actually get some of the water treatment plant employees done last week. And I have my recertification in June, so I'll be able to do the firefighters and then any other employees after that. So just slowly chipping away at some of those things that have just kind of been sitting around making us a little bit crazy. Other than that, not too much. I guess if you have any other questions, I'm absolutely here for those answers.
Do we have any questions?
Sorry.
Thank you for that, Sheila. I appreciate that. Often I get no, that's good. I'll take applause and cheering at the end of my
All right, all those in favor? Carried. That the water quality annual report be received and filed. Councilor Stewart. And with Jamie?
I can just add to it. This is just an annual report that we do. It has to be sent to the Water Security Agency. We have to post it on our website and in the office here and at the water treatment plant. So everything's good, numbers are good. So just wanted to share it with you.
Thank you. Any questions at all? All right, all those in favor? It's carried. That the request to consolidate the two properties located at 610 and 612 9th Avenue West be denied due to development requirements for the consolidated site as per the lot consolidation policy, and that in order to be considered for lot consolidation, a development permit application is required. Councilor Seiferman. Jeff, do you have any information for us?
Certainly. So this individual purchased a lot that had a house on it that was in pretty rough shape. They demolished the house, and then now they're requesting that the lots be consolidated. They're planning on doing some minor repairs to the garage that's still on the site, and so they're wanting to consolidate the lots. We feel that with the lot consolidation policy stating that there needs to be development occurring and a development and building permit taken out, it is fortunate that they tore down the house, but following the policy, there's not enough new development occurring to recommend consolidation. So that's why the request is being denied. The applicant could certainly come back and propose something else, and we could bring that forward. But we kind of feel at this time, unfortunately, that there's not enough new development.
Thank you. Do you have any questions or comments on this?
be, I think it's just a standard municipal, like 50 by 120 or 125.
Any other, oh, Stacy?
Me being in the middle or whatever, but is there nothing or something about having a taxable building on there?
It doesn't say that in the policy.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to clarify.
Yeah. Yeah, it just says like council may consider lot consolidation for new development purposes only, and then it says I think a development permit application is required. So there's not a lot to go off of, so that's actually a policy I would recommend that we look at and kind of beef up so it's more clear exactly of when this will be approved and not, and what the requirements are.
Jeff?
I disagree, I think we should consolidate these lots. The person owns this place, I don't think it's very large, well, maybe you can build a garage there. The houses nowadays, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, so I'd be okay with consolidating this lot for this individual.
Just some historical perspective, previous councils put that policy into place because they wanted to discourage people consolidating two lots just to not have to pay two base taxes. That's just the historical behind the policy itself. We wanted to have some kind of development that would compensate for the loss of the one base tax.
So with the house on it, now it's gone. What would the taxes have been, and what would they be now?
I don't know what the exact value was on the house. It was quite low because of the house's shape. So likely the taxes now would just be the base tax and the land value, which is probably a couple $1,000. So your taxes in total would probably be right now $1,300.
Okay. And, sorry, previous to that was how much?
I don't know what it was.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know what it was
Okay.
previously. Yeah, and a vacant lot is like $12.84 is the base tax, and then what additional there is probably another like $70 or something. So probably around like 1,300.
I can look up the previous year.
So this is probably not even considered, but being that they did rip this house down, it was a problem house. I'm kinda leaning towards they did the town a favor. I don't think they were gonna lose the whole pot of tax by letting them consolidate it, so if that motivates other people to do that, I wouldn't discourage it.
You have something there, Jen?
Yeah, I guess the thing is, like, the conversation around maybe they build a garage, what you're saying is if they did build a garage, they could consolidate it, right?
Yeah.
So, right now, there's a garage in poor condition.
Yeah.
Is
So
that what I
there,
read?
yeah, there's I think it's like a 14 by 16-ish garage that's on there, and they did say that they're wanting to put a new roof on it, a new door, kind of pretty it up.
So is the vacant property 612?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the 2023 levy was 1629.83 with the house on the property.
If we did consolidate, obviously they would have an increase in their taxes on the consolidated lot. So it's not gonna be like we're at 1,600, we're gonna be at like 800.
Right,
No, a full base tax, so 12.
we lose the base tax, but will we not maybe gain some tax in terms of property value?
A little bit, because the lot would be now bigger, so the land value would go up a little bit.
Jeff?
When we do have a garage down there but that doesn't meet our criteria, we said, for having something on this lot to fix it up.
It's, sorry. I guess it doesn't really say, it just speaks to that council will only consider lot consolidations for new development, which, I mean, yeah, I guess tearing down the house is also kind of new development, but it's not constructing new development. So we weren't too sure.
If somebody pulled a permit to, if this garage wasn't there, they pulled a permit and built a small garage like that, that would qualify?
Yeah, so that would be up to council. Like, yeah, we have approved it in the past where a gazebo was proposed and then a home addition down the road. And then we approved the lot consolidation for that. And so they had only built the gazebo. And then now they are doing the home addition. So, I mean, they are doing what they said they would do. But we did approve one specifically where there was like a nicer gazebo.
Do you have any other questions?
Did they ever share with you that they were planning to build a new, and like an attached garage to their house? I see there's a garage.
They did mention, they said if need be, they would also do like a lean-to off the current garage that's on the other property. Like add that as well, if that helped their chances, they said.
Jeff?
So lean to like a carport kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if they build a carport, then we'll let them, like,
I don't think that, I think it says in the report that that's not enough
yeah.
for lot consolidation usually either.
I agree with Stacy, they did us a solid favor by tearing that down after all this time, so we can consolidate this lot. It's at the discretion of council, by the rule of the bylaw, it's very vague.
How do you see this impacting us in the future if we allow this one to be placed?
Well, we could redo the bylaw, I guess, if there's just kind of create different criteria. Because I mean, I do agree that it did save the town money in the sense that the property could have went into tax arrears and then the town got it and then we would have had to have teared it down or something. So I mean, it was good on them to buy it and tear it down, which definitely did us a favor in that sense. They did buy the lot knowing that there were orders on the house to either fix it up or tear it down. So I mean, they kind of entered into that knowing that. I guess the concern would be, I guess, if in the future, if somebody else buys a lot in poor condition and tears that down and requests consolidation, that we would hopefully approve that as well.
The great thing about councils is they'll see these things on a case by case basis, so if the next one comes and we say no for a different reason, then that's still within the power of council to do. So, really it is.
Yeah.
I think we did us a favor by knocking this down and not having it come into our valuable, but I'd like to consolidate.
One more question. What is the average cost when we, what's our average cost when we demolish a home?
Demolish a home?
Yeah. What is it? What do we usually pay?
About $20,000.
Yeah, so that's a lot of years of
Yep.
base tax,
Yep.
I guess.
And if I may, I'll throw my 2 cents in. This was a nuisance property. This was definitely one of the ones where drug activity was apparent. A stolen car was found in the garage. Like, this is very happy to see it gone. I would be more than happy if this starts happening a whole lot.
But for a community that is somewhat landlocked, we need to be cautious, I'd say.
Well, and I guess the hope would be for people that are consolidating these lots, maybe they're gonna start looking at, they will build something else, you know, if we were to follow with the, I know it's not the proper term, but the granny suite idea, right? That was something that was being floated around, so, again,
If we would have ended up with this lot, would there have been, how quickly would we have sold it?
Considering we got other infills that are selling fairly slowly-ish, probably a while.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
We'll probably
Yeah, I
Could
agree.
change it to say that, whereas a dilapidated residence was removed,
also add that it's without prejudice so that it doesn't create any kind of flood, because then it is a one-time motion.
It stays under discretionary use.
You could say whereas.
Cause we made the
Sheila made the,
doctor.
move, so. Are you typing in, you there in?
I'm just coming up with some words.
Well,
On full on.
on full on. They got rid of it, I think they, it cost us $20,000 and we would own a piece of property we couldn't sell.
And then there's maintenance, the legal fees attached to it,
Yep.
would have been substantial cost to us.
So we could say, whereas a dilapidated house was demolished, including the, oh,
I did have an alternate resolution that speaks
I
to,
guess we could read that.
yeah.
Sorry about that.
Oh, here, I can read that at the bottom.
Yes, there we go.
Whereas the town of Nipawin values community beautification, and whereas the applicant has taken upon themselves to purchase and demolish a building of disrepair and repair the existing garage on site, therefore be it resolved that the town of Nipawin approves the lot location of 610 and 612 Ninth Avenue West.
And we could say on a without prejudice basis. Okay.
You can say that.
So the part
Are you-
that means that-
Are you okay making it, going with the alternate resolution? Okay.
Precedent is only set one member.
So we swapped it out to the alternate resolution. Do we have any last questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor? That is carried. Thank you guys for that discussion. Okay, moving on, the council hereby authorizes administration to enter into service agreement discussions with Wallace Insights Limited / Crosby, Hanna and Associates for RFP 2024-001, creation of official community plan as recommended by the land planner, and that the CAO is authorized to sign the service agreement on behalf of the town of Nipawin if satisfied with the terms of the agreement. Councilor Bellinger. Jeff, do you have anything to add here?
I can just do a little bit of clarification. So we had the official community plan RFP go out. We had 5 responses. We scored them on a ranking scale. The highest 2 scores were Wallace Insights and Core Geomatics. Core Geomatics got a really high score because they were very inexpensive. And the way that we did the ranking is that the cheapest or the least expensive proposal got 30 points, and then there was a calculation done on all the others to kind of assign points based off the price. And so that's where Core Geomatics got the bulk of their points awarded. Considering that we have the budget and that Wallace Insights scored so much higher on the meat and potatoes of the project, that's what I'm recommending.
Do you have any questions or comments for Jeff? Jeff?
Yeah, but it's a factor of 200% more money compared to the Core Geomatics. Could they not do the job what we're looking for?
I think they could do it. It would just not, I don't feel that it would be as good of a product at the end of the day. Because so the 2 quotes that we got from Geomatics companies were substantially cheaper or less expensive than the quotes that we got, or proposals that we got from the planning firms. So the Geomatics companies will kind of do planning on the side. It's not their main deal. They're more into like subdivision and like industry like oil and gas and forestry. planning is more of an offshoot, whereas the planning firms deal specifically in planning.
Jeff?
But once again, $50,000 difference, so, like, Jair, like, that is a lot of money when we look if they are capable of doing the job. I know we've worked with Wallace before, and, but $50,000, that's a lot of money just to say that the other one, and basically, I think, and I feel that they would be, but we don't know, so.
The other thing I can mention is that price did not include travel and accommodations, and it did not include, what was the other thing? There was quite a few hours, so that one they had like 176 hours, whereas the other firms had up to 400 hours to do this. So there was quite a bit of, like, not as much work as what they're thinking. And one example would be there was 10 hours listed to go through all of our old official community plans, zoning bylaw, and documents, which there's no way you could read all of those in 10 hours. It's not possible. So I feel like that price would very quickly get higher. Yeah. Yeah.
And the official community plan is one of our main guiding documents. We need to be sure that the company that is developing it for us is well qualified to develop it, and it's not just a sideline for their business.
Who did our previous community plan?
Associated Engineer, well, our own, Nipawin's own, would have been Crosby Hanna, back in 2000 as a basic planning statement, and then in 2013 we had the district plan, which was Associated Engineering.
Okay.
And we'll still have the district plan, but this is to create our own.
I have that same concern when you see a quote that is substantially lower. Usually you see overruns as the project progresses. I've seen that happen in lots of projects. I would be concerned too. So, do we have any other questions or comments? Okay. All those in favor? Any opposed? Alright. Whereas McDonald's Restaurant of Canada Limited is currently in good standing with respect to the servicing agreement it has with the town of Nipawin, and whereas the town encourages this positive relationship to continue, therefore be it resolved that council hereby authorizes the drafting of an amended agreement to the servicing agreement held with McDonald's Restaurant of Canada Limited as recommended by the land planner, and that the amending agreement shall focus on the sale of vacant land, and that the drafted agreement be brought before council for final approval. Jeff, did you want to add on this?
Sure. McDonald's Corp of Canada sent us the standing letter of credit, which says that they have put up funds to ensure that they complete the off-site development. So that would be the ditches, the roadway, the pedestrian signage for the crosswalk, things like that. And so with that in place, they were asking to see if they could now sell the additional land that they hold. So originally in the servicing agreement covers all the land that they purchased, and they weren't able to sell any land until everything in the servicing agreement was completed and after a 1-year warranty was done. So with this letter of credit, it would not 100% guarantee, I mean nothing's ever 100%, but more than likely ensure that they complete the off-site work. And then the new agreement would be the intent that they could sell the remaining land on a go-forward basis, so they could start marketing it and trying to sell it to potential people.
Thank you. Do we have any questions or comments on this one? questions? All those in favor? That's carried. The council hereby approves awarding the Catterall and Wright Consulting Engineers the tender for engineering for the Evergreen Drive sewer loop and the sewer trunk line to the South Corridor project with a combined project cost of $187,395.27 as recommended by the GM of Community Services. Councilor Stewart. And, Derek?
Well, I went with Catterall, right, just because their prices and their timelines were not necessarily the most adequate on the prices, but Pinter, if you look at the Evergreen Loop, is $20,000 more than just about $20,000 more than Catterall, right, for the Evergreen, and then they're just about $100,000 less for the. I find it very hard to believe that you could do a sewer loop when 5 other companies cannot for $150,000. Also, they had a whole pile of Pinter had a whole pile of extra costs, additional costs to hourly rates. So there was really no way to get a final quote. There would have been numerous change orders is all it was just looked like. So that's why the lowest one was left out. I had it down, it was between All North and Catterall Wright, and Catterall Wright's timelines ultimately. They figure they can get the Evergreen service loop done this year based on, and they will be done if everything went to the best they could, they would be done the other one by the end of May of 2025, as opposed to everybody else that's going into October. So that was their proposed timelines, and they were less money than All North. The one thing with All North is possibly you do get, because they are in-house engineer and they have other work going on, you may get the person who's here for the project management to work on other projects for free, but as we know, most people don't do anything for free. So that's how I came out with it. Very similar to Jeff's without all the, I didn't put all the.
Okay. Thank you, Derek. Do we have any questions or comments on this one? Jeff?
Catterall and Wright, I agree with the Pinter, it doesn't look like they're lining up. The Catterall and Wright, do they have experience working on sewers of this design?
They're one of the largest municipal engineers in the province.
We haven't worked with them before, have we?
I am not that I'm aware of, but Jamie might know more about that.
Not that I've.
And we did discuss this as an entire group. It wasn't just an individual decision.
Just curious where they from there.
Saskatoon.
I have one other question.
Go ahead.
Do all the directors agree? Because right now we're hearing, right, this will be a utility project, right? So are we okay?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I'd like to try them out. Yeah, they
Yeah, absolutely.
seem very, very knowledgeable, and again, I'm just adding this. We're trying to find another municipal engineer that we don't give the keys to. So that they work hard and they keep their pencil sharp for us, right? That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, and then the project will be turned over to, because it is a development project, is why
Yeah.
Community Services did the RFP, and then when it comes actually down to it, it's a team effort, and
Yeah.
everybody will be involved, but ultimately it is a works and utilities,
Yeah.
operations and engineering project.
Okay.
So he'll be close.
All right, so no other questions? All those in favor? That's carried. The council hereby approves the rental rate of $25 per hour, $75 for 4 hours, and $125 per day for the upstairs space at the Tourism Information Center as recommended by the GM of Community Services. Derek. This is
This is just so that if the space was to be, is able to be rented, cause right now it's just a loophole, right? So if we put a price on it and we have, it can be rented. We have been approached by an art group in the past and an art group now and a couple of groups for just meetings. I did put a procedure in place for how it would work for opening and closing the doors if it was to come down to it. And I based it on the jack pine room in size. That's why I think it's $5 an hour less than the jack pine room.
Do you have any questions or comments on this? Okay, all those in favor? That one's carried. Alright, now we're moving on to 9.2.6. The council hereby agrees to award the gravel supply contract to Taylor's Trenching Limited as recommended by the GM of Operations and Engineering Services for the tendered amount of $30.63 per yard of screen gravel plus GST, with funds to come from GL account 431-320-415 gravel. Councilor Schaefer. Jamie, do you have anything
Yes.
to add here?
Well, I'll just kind of give you a highlight. So we put this on SAS Timbers for quotes. We received 3, Vic Construction, Taylor's Trenching Limited, and Chupa Trucking. The cheapest one is Taylor's. That's who supplied us with gravel last year. They got the award last year. I know we have a local business for $1.17 more money, but I still think that $1 saved is best we can do, is the best thing we can do. So that's why I've got that my pick.
Okay. Do we have any questions? Jeff?
Alright, just one, sorry, my dirt, I'm not up on my dirt on my front, but screen gravel, crushed road gravel, and road gravel, are they all the same thing essentially?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's no, so that word.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Comparing apples to apples.
Yeah.
Do we have any other questions?
Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. How many yards do you get?
We're getting $20,000 worth. That's what we have in our budget every year. So $20,000. Do you want me to tell you the exact amount?
No.
Okay.
I'm good.
Because I can just quickly do that.
I'm just curious again, where are they from?
They're from Star City. So relatively close.
And you're obviously happy with their product.
Yes. Yeah. I'm happy with both. Right.
Jeff?
And the last thing is delivery dates, did they deliver relatively on time last
They
year?
they started delivering in June of last year. As soon as they got it, they were trucking it on our property.
I
it
just
took them
remember
about-
in the couple of hours.
Yeah, it took them about a week. So by the time they get there, it'll probably be June, July, August, between that time. They'll start. They'll have it done.
So my concern, you definitely touched on it right off the bat, was, you know, a local company is here and it's a difference of about 3.5% only. It's fairly minimal, in my opinion, in terms of supporting a local tax-paying business in the community. That's just my thought.
I'm gonna go with 3.5%. When you raise your taxes 3.5%, how happy are your ratepayers? That would be my comment to it. I know it's not nothing to do with me, but
I was just gonna say the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And it is our responsibility to look after all of the ratepayers.
Jeff?
And if we were to give deals to local companies, we'd be basically giving them a tax benefit or of some degree, right? Which we could write into a policy, but it's not in the policy right now, only that we could give fair opportunity and it's not if they're within 10% or 5%, we'll go that way.
Our policy says all things being equal, and you go
Mhm.
with the local company, but this,
I think we also have to be careful because this is on council, so.
No, and, yeah, that's why declares his conflict and stuff, so. Okay, do we have any other questions or comments on this? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Alright, that council hereby agrees to purchase the new towable diesel air compressor from CFM Air Equipment in the amount of $36,146.15 plus GST, as recommended by the GM of Operations and Engineering Services, with funds to come from GL account 431-310-824, Public Works Capital. Sheila? And Jamie?
Yeah. So again, this was posted on SAS Tenders. I reached out to one of the local businesses here. They did quote us, and just gave them notice that we were putting it up on SAS Tenders. So it's the same unit. The unit that I'm picking from CFM Air Equipment for a price of $36,146.15 is quite a bit cheaper than the next one by a couple $1,000s. This machine has a 5-year warranty. It meets everything that we want in it. We have 41,000 was in the capital budget for this purchase, so we're a lot lower than that. And yeah, they said that it would be brought in within 7 to 10 days. So as soon as it's legal, we should have her in a couple weeks.
Okay, thank you very much, Jamie. Do we have any questions or comments on this one? Steve?
I'm just curious on apples to apples with like the brands and.
Yeah, this one seems to be top notch. They all were really good. The one company, I asked them if they could give me multiple units, and the only company that did that, Councilor Vic, was Cross Country. They gave me 4: Bobcat, Rotair, Airman in Chicago, Phonamic or whatever. But they're all right there. They pretty well all have the same engine in them. This one is a Kubota engine in them.
Okay,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
do you have any other questions or comments on this? All those in favor? Alright, that council hereby agrees to purchase the new 7x14-foot enclosed trailer from Fast Toys for Boys Limited in the amount of $12,490.29 plus GST, as recommended by the GM of Operations and Engineering Services, with the funds to come from GL account number 471-812-820 WTP Capital. Jamie?
Yeah, so last council meeting, after I talked with all the councilors here, they wanted to table this and get another quote from a local business that I was totally unaware that sold enclosed trailers, but thanks for letting me know. I did receive a quote from them. It is marked here at $13,621. That's equivalent to close to about 8 to 9% more than the previous one. So I'm still bringing forth to purchase the one from Fast Toys, from Boys Limited, and they are in southern Saskatchewan.
And I believe that the local one would put us over budget.
Yeah, it would put us over budget by $621.
Okay. Do we have any questions, Jeff?
Just on apples to apples again, same thing, right? Is the one we're purchasing from Fast, we might purchase from Fast Toys for Boys a tandem or is it single axle?
It's a tandem. It's right in the report there. Two 3,500-pound axles.
I missed that.
The one thing about this Fast Toys for Boys, it actually has some storage with cabinets in the front of it as well, which the other ones did not.
Stacy?
Are they delivering it?
No, we're gonna have to probably go down and pick up.
And where did you say they were from?
The southern Saskatchewan, about 3 hours from here.
Davidson.
That's just outside of Saskatoon.
So what would that cost us to drive a half ton down and pick it up?
Well, we also have other things that we go down to Saskatoon to pick up in the summertime, so we probably go down there and pick something else up as well. So
Right.
it's kind of a double thing.
So it's still a cost to consider.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah?
So I'm just a little confused because I don't see where the numbers match on the quotes compared to the report.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I see 13079 on the Fast Toys for Boys, and
13,709.
13079. And now my thing's not loading. Sorry, and it was like 12 something for on the Kevin's Custom Ag. I know that GST or
PST, 6%.
yeah, so PST's probably added to this
Yes.
12850. But it looks, I gotta look here. I don't know what's gone on with the Fast Toys for Boys one. I couldn't quite figure that out.
It's 11,6299 plus GST at 589.25. Or I
Okay.
mean 705.30. So
Okay.
that's where,
That's where it is. Okay.
right?
I just was looking for some clarity, that's all.
Yeah.
And then the other one is before tax.
Yes,
12,850.
No,
plus 6%.
Yes.
1561, right?
Yeah, and this one's 11,600 before tax.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all.
Okay.
Just wanted to.
And you said there was
Yeah,
some
you scrambled it.
additional stuff.
No.
to bring
Screw
up.
up.
Just wanted to make sure I was understanding it correctly.
And you said the one from Fast Toys had additional things in it that the other ones all were missing?
Well,
Is it not
yeah,
missing,
but it's
but-
very minimal, right?
Right.
Like we make it work, like either or. I'm just, like I said, if the local quote was less than this other one, I would totally pursue it, purchase it from there, right?
Stacy?
So I am fighting for local because it isn't a full pile of cash, but the other thing that I think of is they've already went over and above for protective services. I know it's a different department, but they weren't even close. And Paul can help me out here on the deck on that truck.
Yes.
So that's kinda why I'm leaning toward, well, I'm always gonna lean toward local, yeah, regardless, but I don't know, you guys. And $12,000 or whatever is gonna stay here, not in Davidson. That's what I was pushing.
I'm in agreement. Most of the time, within a reasonable amount, reasonable obviously can be determined differently for everybody, but I do agree with the, idea of the local stuff more often than not, so. Do we have Sheila?
Does Kevin Custom Ag not have to bring them in?
Yeah, it has to get built.
So timeframe wise?
Yeah, it's gonna be probably 6 to 8 weeks.
For all of them?
No, just for Kevin's.
How long, sorry?
Well, they told me up to 3 months today.
Okay.
I just could give them a quick call and just ask them, because they said they had to build it, so I just gave them a call today and just said, what's the time frame, and between 1 and 3 months kind of deal.
Jeff?
A lot I could say on this, right? I love the idea of local as well, but, here's the but. We also tax everybody based on the lowest thing. We have a purchasing policy that we have all agreed to, and it's in writing on how we want our staff to go out and get these quotes. So we have to really be able to rationalize our costs. If we wanted something local in it, it should be in that policy,
Yeah.
not at this thing every time something comes down. Just a thought.
I agree, if you have 10 items that are only $1,000 difference, then in the end, you're $10,000. It's the more you have. And we always reach out to local. Absolutely, we would go local with it.
Go ahead, Jeff.
But I could go on another rant on this, right? So the other side of it is, we didn't go outside of Nipmuc when we went and got 2 trucks. We went to both the dealerships in town, right? Murray Dunn and to Dock. Yeah, we didn't go and even ask, right? We didn't. So that's in a way doing the exact same thing. Yeah, so I don't know where we are.
Mine's always gonna be preference to local if it's apples to apples. And it's not crazy. Because I believe that any dollar, the $10,000 deal, to me, if it's over that greater amount of money, it's going to produce $40,000 plus everything's through its power of 4. So it's staying in the community. I always think of this pile of money sitting there and it's gone, rather than a pile of money circulating around. That's only me. So
Jeff?
On the other side, we have to have a bigger pile of money, then we still have to go and ask the taxpayer for more money, right?
Yeah. That's right.
So we've had 3, right? One we can't discuss because you're here. We've had this one, and we just had that one where we spent $50,000 more, right? It's just for a service that we think might be better, right? It's just one of those, right? Where are we?
Jamie, what was the delivery on from Fast Foods?
I just go pick it up, it's sitting in the parking lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you foresee an issue if the local option was chosen with the delivery? Would that cause issues?
Like if we pick Ken's Custom Ag, say, that's totally up to you.
Okay, like
Like
I'm
if
saying,
we don't get it for, we've never had it, so if we don't have it for another month, it's not gonna hurt, right?
Right,
Like
okay.
it's something that we would like to get set up for our digs, and but ultimately that's your choice.
Okay, thank you, Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any other questions, comments, more discussion?
Sorry, I'll just throw my 2 cents in. And Stacy, your point is well taken. This was, the local business has taken care of us and protected services very, very much so. But that being said, just in general, it does become a challenge for us as GMs if we're going to get quotes, if we're always going to be leaning towards the local and spending the extra money all the time. It almost becomes, why am I bothering to going outside then? That would be the only concern I would have. And again, council ultimately can make the decision to go local on anything. I guess it's just, at some point there could be that break where, how much money have we spent above and beyond? And I do understand completely, right? You spend, if it's a little bit more, 100%, but, if it's a little bit times 10 items or 20 items and it's that little bit over and over and over again, now it's, where does our budget start to go, right?
And then companies will also, sorry, I'm just gonna add to that, will also notice that it doesn't matter if they quote you, they're not gonna get it if a local person does. So we're setting a precedence there as well. And it's hard enough to get quotes as it is.
What about warranty? So Fast Fast Toys, they would offer their.
Yeah, the standard probably 1 year warranty, just like everything when it comes to trailer wise, right? And I'm sure, that's something that is not on the quotes, so,
Yeah, so if there were warranty issues, if we were dealing with a local company,
yeah.
we're gonna be taken care of, likely a lot better.
Yeah.
So. Whereas if there was issues and we didn't go through warranty, it could cost us more too.
Mhm.
Jeff?
Like I said, I could circle back on this all night, but if you go back to the fact that we have a policy, procurement, we're asking our administration to go out and get 3 quotes. And we don't have anything in that policy that dictates something for local, right? It's not saying we couldn't put something in there, right? But you're right, then it's gonna be near impossible to get proper quotes for anything, so.
And Cheyenne Motor Products is the Melford business as well, so that's as close as I got to local until I had Kevin's customer.
And I think it may also say something in our policy about, you know, the lowest tender isn't always the one we go with, right? So, we do have that opportunity with, and still be within the policy, so. Jeff?
But can we prove the discretion, right? Like, are we getting, that's why I always ask, with everything we've done today in regards to apples, is the tandem, does it have all the same criteria, is it meeting and creating all the dots, right? If it is, then you are comparing apples to apples, right? Then it is only about the one.
So when you're, which brings me up to something the government has to look at, cause that's a code. So everything has to be met in criteria to quote that trailer. Would be the same as the trucks. You can have extra on the trucks, but you have to make the baseline quote.
Something like this is a little easier.
True enough, but, I mean, that's what was asked, am I right? You got a list, so everyone hit that list, otherwise they wouldn't make it.
Like I wanted the heavy duty axles, as you said, make sure that you get the heavy duty axles in that conversation, right? So that's, I made sure that that was involved in.
Jen?
So I'm gonna go back to what Jeff said, we have a policy that dictates how this is done and how the staff and administration does their work. And, so then for us to function outside of that policy is really, in a sense, unfair to administration and how we're expecting them to do their work. The other thing I wanna say is that, yeah, it's $1,000, but $1,000 10 times is a 0.25 tax increase for the whole town. So, like, when you start to think of it that way and, you know, you look at our taxable rates and what Jeff always says, so.
How much is 50,000?
Right?
Yeah.
1%.
So it just doesn't take long and it starts to impact everybody when we make $1,000 and $2,000 and $3,000 decisions, and so I wanna bring it back to that, and I do wanna, we do ask that our administration work within policy and bylaw, and so then for us to step outside of that policy and bylaw really makes their jobs difficult.
Do we have any other?
Well, we were talking about the 50,000, the stem. However, that wasn't apples to apples either, so we have to bear that in mind. I guess at the end of the day, I want what's best for Nipper. That's all I've ever wanted. So if we spent the extra 50,000 and we feel good about it, because these other, that's another gimmick too, is I'm gonna cut through and come in at a really low cost, but then I'm gonna have 50 other add-ons. It's happening all the time.
I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah, so that's something that we have to be, let the buyer beware.
Right.
We can argue this all night long, whatever happens, happens, but I'm just putting it out there that,
It was valid.
And I'm with you, and I don't think there's a perfect answer.
yeah.
I think you also have to trust instincts too. Jeff is an intelligent man, he intuitively believes that what we decided is, you know, they're not sitting here because they won't come with knowledge, and
lower price, that would be very different.
That's already passed, though, sorry.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's,
Well, I'm just
that was the
using it as
example.
an example,
That was the example, so.
And we're talking about
I'm allowed to speak
$1,000
too.
here, not 50.
Not
So,
50.
yeah,
Absolutely.
which is a lot less, so.
Okay, so do we have any, okay, all those in favor? Opposed? That's carried.
We have to change the policy.
It might be something there you,
No, we can't.
I know.
It's not on here.
If something comes up and we wanna put it towards a committee, we can sit. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Let's follow the agenda.
you trying to say on your phone? or-
Yes.
I like the
Okay.
date.
Alright, the council hereby agrees to purchase 2 new heaters for the town shop from SK Valley Services Limited for the quoted price of $9,911.67 plus GST, as recommended by the GM of Operations and Engineering Services, with funds to come from GL account number 431310824, Public Works Capital. Councilor Donovan? Jamie, I guess this is you again.
Yes, so I called around to all the local plumbers here in Nipawin, and I got 3 quotes. The cheapest one is SK Valley Services. We have a total of 3 heaters that need to be replaced in the town shop. 2 will be this year, 1 for next. SK Valley is the company that put the previous new one in. There are quite a bit cheaper than the rest, and have worked with them before, and I like their work, so this is who I'm recommending.
Thank you.
You're
Do we have any questions or comments on this one? Yeah?
Just a comment, this is a lot easier because there's 3 Nipon companies here.
Yes.
Absolutely.
This one I wasn't that
If 3 Nipon companies, the other one would be a lot easier.
Right, do we have any other questions or comments on this one? Right, all those in favor? I guess that means we just need to grow and bring in some more businesses.
Life easier here.
That council hereby approves the purchase of 1/4" minus red shale at an amount of $30,024 and GST from Colored Shale Products Inc. as recommended by the GM of Leisure Services, with the funding to come from the Parks Capital Budget 461743820, and the council agrees to waive the applicable provisions of the procurement policy regarding tendering in this instance. Councilor Witt. And Chelsea.
Thank you. So we have shale in the 2024 budget. There is only one company in Saskatchewan that supplies colored shale. They are colored shale from Moose Jaw. So with $30,000 in budget, we get about 180 cubic yards of shale, and we are $24 over budget. So, yeah. So if there's any questions,
Thank you, Chelsea.
I can answer those.
Do we have any questions at all? Okay, all those in favor? That one's carried. Alright, the council hereby approves the 2024-2025 Community Grant Program applications for the town of Nipawin as recommended by the GM of Leisure Services. Councilor Stewart. And Chelsea again.
Thank you. So this is the community grant program. It is a program run through Sask Lotteries that the Legal Services Department administers. We received this year $46,838. The arm of Nipawin does allocate some of their funding towards our Sask Lotteries grant, so we have an additional small amount that we get from them. and the amount is based on per capita. So we put a call out for any organizations within the town to apply for the community grant program. That's on the last page of the document. We had a few new applications this year and a few returning organizations this year as well. So we have a wide variety, and this is just our proposed amount to be funded through Saskatchewan for council to approve. They will then get their approval letters and they can run their program throughout the year from now to the end of March.
Okay. Thank you, Chelsea. Jan?
I'm just wondering if there's a reason why the allocation for the rec department has grown quite a bit for this year.
Yes, it has grown. We didn't receive as many applications from, well, we were short one application from the base groups, so we moved that funding into the rec department. And then we're trying to do as many free programs as possible, but not have it affect the taxpayers in Nipawin. So we're trying to allocate some money towards the free programs that we offer. So like the summer program for kids, a lot of communities actually charge for that. In speaking with some municipalities, they actually keep a large portion of the community grant program for their rec programming, which I wasn't aware you could actually do. So it is something that we are doing. But we can alter that if council wishes to.
Jeff?
I think we should alter it. I think we should put a cap on how much we can take from this at 5,000. Other than that, and the rest should be going. Cause I do think we do good things with it, but we also have the means of funding it through other means where some of these other organizations don't. So that's just my 2 cents.
Do we have any other questions or comments on that? Yeah?
The applicants, are they required to be nonprofit? Out of this list, is that
Yes.
like what are the requirements? Okay.
Yes, and they have to be eligible, they have to provide sport, culture, and recreation programs for the community. So all of these ones with the applications we received do provide that. There are a few of the organizations that we did lower this year based on the fact that they do have a large amount of funding in their bank account. And we didn't feel that it was necessary that they needed the full amount of funding that they've received in the past. Yeah.
Jeff?
I'd like to see it pretty consistent across a lot of the bases, the minor hockey, the minor ball, all the volleyball and everything, that are around 1,500. There are some discrepancies in here, and I think that could lead to some people.
For sure, and I think I probably know the ones you're speaking of. Those are the ones that have very large sums of money in their bank account.
I have one more question, sorry. Just, I'm wondering how much of our allocation goes to the cultural assistance program?
We budget about 2,000. Yeah. But if I get more, I'll tend to maybe approve slightly more than that. Yeah.
Okay. And that full amount gets used every year?
It has been, yeah.
Jeff?
But if we put that down to 5,000, we could take the other 2,300 and put it right into the after-school programming, which requested 6,500, it's at 3,750 for last year,
For
which,
sure.
right? So there's plenty of good places
Yeah.
it could be, and the only argument I always have is that we have the ability from taxes and through budgets to be able to flex and make money where some of these other organizations are.
And I don't have a problem with that. Just as a note, the after-school program does receive the $10,000 from us as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so, another question.
Okay.
If I could, the programming that the department supplies from that $7,000 is free for everybody in the community. They wouldn't have to pay like
Registration,
registration
yeah.
fees or anything. It's everybody in the community, regardless of income, can access that program.
That means I don't have a problem going back. If council wishes to put a cap on the rec department, that's fine.
I've just seen it grow and grow and grow, so I think a cap is, I think 5,000, that's just where I am at, I don't know where everybody else is, but, and then I'd like to see it, you know, put in more into the, probably more of the target groups, to be honest. Like, they're more risky.
I personally think you've done a good job of allocating it, and I'd like to see it continue as is.
I wonder if it's probably, like, I kind of feel like it's a topic for budget time and, you know, if you know that you're gonna cap it at a certain amount, then that's the amount you would budget for.
Absolutely.
Probably won't include me, but I'm just putting it out there.
I think just a comment too, we've seen an increase in the rec department a couple of years. It's coming from COVID, we had a lot of programs not run, so we've seen kind of slowly increase in the programs, but yes.
Cause if you use 2,000 for cultural assistance, that's, that wasn't, enough for the rest of it.
It's hard to pick the winners and losers.
It really is, yes, and so we try to do it as fair, and based on some of what they've used in the previous years, we had a couple that have applied for, say $800, but then they only used 400 last year, so then it's kind of a juggling act of making sure, well, you know, are they actually gonna use it this year, or, because we never wanna give money back to the community grant program, so I end up usually shuffling it to other groups at that time if I can.
Do we have any other questions or comments? Okay. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Alright, the communications recorded as items 12.1 to 12.3 be received and filed. All those in favor? That's carried. That council hereby agrees to provide a letter of support of the National Police Federation call to action regarding the creation of a Saskatchewan Marshal Service. Councillor Stewart. Okay, did everybody have an opportunity to read through the email? Any questions, comments? Jeff?
Lots of Jeff today. I think we wrote a report for the RCMP saying that this money should basically go towards more RCMP members instead of a marshal service, so we've already done the exact opposite of what this is. So that's what that meant, right? The RCMP were looking at that budget, but they don't have the means of getting the membership to get here, so that's. Anyway, that's.
Can you say that again? I think I'm
We
missing it.
wrote a letter already
Yeah.
supporting the RCMP
Yeah.
to basically take the money that was gonna be used for the marshal services and expand its program. And then we seldom received something back from them stating this, and now we received this saying, are we gonna support the marshal program? So we-
No,
No,
this is,
Their call to
this
action.
is a call to action to pause it, to pause any further investment and put it into the RCMP. It's from the,
Oh, yeah, right, right.
It's,
Yeah.
this is support of the RCMP.
So it's what we've already done.
Right, so this is just another avenue of advocating.
I can read one paragraph.
Sure.
We call on the government of Saskatchewan to release the full plan for the proposed Saskatchewan Marshal Service, including comprehensive details on costing and anticipated impacts. We also urge the provincial government to pause any further investment into the SMS until proper informed consultation has taken place. They're calling for more information to be provided.
comments or questions then?
I can support it.
Or me.
I said I'm in support of that.
Okay.
They're frankly serious.
Alright, all those in favor? That's carried. Okay, that the request for a speed reduction zone pertaining to the roadway in front of the Handiworks building located at 700 Railway Avenue be referred to administration for review and recommendation. Any questions or comments on this? All those in favor? Okay, moving on to new business. Whereas the Local Government Elections Act provides council the discretion to not hold a by-election to fill a vacancy on council until the next general election if the said vacancy occurs within 1 year of the next scheduled general election. And whereas the next scheduled general election will be held Wednesday, November 13th, 2024. Therefore, council hereby agrees not to hold a by-election to fill the position vacated by Councillor Bruce Pahowich, April 23rd, 2024. Let's wait it. I imagine there's no conversation here. All those in favor? That's carried. That council hereby agrees to provide letters to the provincial government in support. Oh yeah, in support of the Northern Village of Cumberland House's efforts to secure permanent repairs to Highway 123 to the Northern Village and a long-term sustainable solution to a water source for the village. Councillor Seiferling. Do you have any questions or comments regarding this? I'll just say that this came out of the meeting we had with the mayor and council with the Village of Cumberland House last week. This was something they were definitely looking for some support, so. Okay, all those in favor? That's carried. That council hereby agrees to place the deputy fire chief position at the grade 0-3 level of the out-of-scope salary scale. Stewart? Do we have any questions or comments, or?
I can speak to it.
Sure.
This is to get this position put onto the salary scale, and I can tell you we have a draft new salary scale to go to the governance committee meeting next week. And it's much simplified and clarified, and some positions there will be some movement, but this just puts the position onto the scale so that we can complete the hiring, the employment process.
Jan?
I'm wondering what reasoning you use to put them where they are.
The reason we used for this one was law enforcement emergency measures officer is at that position. This one with the deputy fire chief would potentially be supervising a number of staff when the fire chief is not here. And I can tell you that we're proposing for the governance meeting for discussion a complete overhaul of the pay scale. And would be different criteria for where each position is placed. So this is placing at the current wage of the current, what the deputy chief has been making.
Yeah, and so, I'll clarify a little bit, Jen, when you see the numbers there, those are annual salaries. Keep in mind that we're still proposing the deputy fire chief would still be a 3/4 time. So what you're seeing there is the annual salaries, you'd be taking 0.75 of that.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
Yeah, okay.
Do you have any other questions or comments? Jeff?
I always have comments, Dave. Just we have to be very careful when we are doing this scale that we're not adjusting anybody's salary, so that was done budget time or anything like that. When it comes to actually redoing this whole scale, which is good, it needs to be done.
Right. That would be for 2025,
Yeah.
would be the new scale. This one is based on what we budgeted for this year for
Yep.
that position.
Yep, this was as close as we could get to what I had proposed at the dollar amount for the position with the hours, etc. And again, as Michelle said, if the question is why the deputy fire chief would be in the grade 0 to 3, it's an on-call, it's a supervisory role of up to 30 firefighters. It is a high stress job, and that was with all the comparisons that I had done with all of the other positions in the province as well. So it was, it was researched pretty heavily, and this is the lowest end of the scale.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay. All those in favor? Okay, introduction and consideration of bylaws. That bylaw number 1175/24, being a bylaw to fix rates to be charged for the use and consumption of water, and to fix the rates to be charged by way of rent or service charge for the use of water facilities, be introduced and read a first time. By Mr. Stewart. All those in favor? Sorry, you're right.
I can speak.
Sure, Michelle.
Excuse me, Schedule 1, the Works Department fee schedule, those rates have not been amended for many years. And these proposed changes bring it more in line with the actual cost of providing those services. And the infrastructure fee charge in Schedule A is, as we discussed during budget deliberations, for the to fund the loan for the water and sewer infrastructure projects that are coming. So that would be an additional $5 per month in August, starting August 1st, and then $5 additional per month January 1st. And our water sewer rates have not been increased in at least 8 years. So that's just something to.
Thank you, Michelle. Do you have any questions?
You going?
Yeah, you go first. I think
You're chatty tonight.
Yeah.
Just looking at the monthly water rates, per 1,000 gallons, one of the things years ago from SUMA that there was a conversation around was charging more for the high users as opposed to having your highest rate for your low users. And so I wonder, when I look at it going down for the more water that you use, it doesn't entice people to only use their 3,000 gallons because the cost is in that first 3,000 gallons, right? And so I feel like there's maybe a little more to do here, that maybe those costs should be reviewed and potentially increased when you use more.
Jeff?
I think we have to go to a different entire committee to be able to change those rates.
That comes after, there's a recommendation after the bylaw, but if we're gonna table the bylaw, then we would also table the.
Okay.
Second part.
Okay.
Okay, so the 35, the August 1st, $5 more a month infrastructure fee, and January 1st, $5 a month, that's to pay for the new sewer. Okay. What are we using the first $30 per month to pay for?
Well, that will also be for part of it, that will fund that, and also for a new upgrades to the water treatment plant. Jane, I can let you.
It's all gonna be our infrastructure. That 250,000 we put in for that sewer line this year into reserves, that's coming out of there. I think it comes out to be about 600,000 a year at $30 a month is what we're pulling out of that yearly. So, that's trailer, membranes is $100,000. Yeah, it's just gonna be all our infrastructure, water and sewer.
Do we have any other questions or comments?
So I think for me, I guess I would still like to see the overages reviewed and really when you're a high user, pay more.
We can bring that back, just a note, it takes about a month, for the SMB application when it goes there. That's just something to consider, we can absolutely review the rates. The only rates that we reviewed at this point to recommend to change was the infrastructure change. We can absolutely hold off.
And the
So,
works department fee schedule, we also increased all that.
yeah,
Yes.
how often are we allowed to change the rate?
Uh,
Just, is
you-
there a limit on that?
I don't believe there is a limit, like we couldn't go back in January or go back in,
We have to be at a ratio, right? We're running at a 1.52, so we're actually still making money with our water sales. But the more the infrastructure and stuff like that, once we can get that, if that dwindles down, we're still finding out what it's gonna cost us to run this water treatment plant. Everything's new, right? Once it starts, things start happening, it's gonna cost money. So if that gets to like a 1.1 ratio of, then that's when you can go to the SMB and start increasing your rates.
Anyway, so for me, it's just really around those overages, not the, like, I think the infrastructure, all the changes are fine, it's just that maybe there could be another rate with those overages.
would
So-
be okay if we send this the way it is and review the overages?
That's what I'm wondering, is if some of that could come back even to committee and have a conversation.
Yeah, we can definitely review that.
Okay. Thank you, Jen. Any other questions?
Well, I'm just thinking road use, and that's not my family, but if you got a family of 5 or 6, you're gonna go through more than 2,000 gallons of water. And again, if we're gonna talk about everything, then we're gonna talk about people who run fixed incomes. So that's something
sure.
we all have to take into consideration.
I just think it's worth reviewing, just on it, when you look at what other communities, it'd be interesting to see what other communities have.
It's always good to review.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Any other questions or comments? All right, all those in favor? This one's carried. Okay, that bylaw number 1175/24 be read a second time. Do you have any more questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor? That bylaw number 1175/24 be given 3 readings at this meeting. Councilor Seiferman. Do you have any questions or comments? All those in favor? That bylaw number 1175/24 being a bylaw to fix rates to be charged for the use and consumption of water and to fix the rates to be charged by way of rent or service charge for the use of sewer facilities be read a third time and finally adopted. Councilor Vic. Do you have any questions or comments? All those in favor? Okay, that council hereby agrees to submit the utility fund summary and approval of sewer and water rates application to the Saskatchewan Municipal Board as recommended by the GM of Corporate Services. Councilor Stewart. All those in favor?
some definite hiccups, but, feel like I've done a great job. Creating some emails for, thank you, Sheila, right? And, in regards to a few of the issues there with the roof and the wind wall and this other stuff. So, right now, the project is a little bit up in the air, but we are still determined to get it done. It will get done, it just might be hard to get done this year. I can go into more detail if you guys ever want.
Believe if you're going to.
Want to go into detail?
Under SHA, so I gotta stay out of it.
Oh.
You know,
Well,
there's
yeah,
some conflict with that.
I'm already neck deep in it too. Yeah,
Well, the, what's she called?
SHA and, non-engineer
No, but
project.
she's the project manager. She's been challenging, us about a wind wall and the roof for
My preference is just to leave during this conversation.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and she's, worried that the wind is gonna blow out and the roof is not going to have the capacity to manage the rotor pressures of,
The
anyway,
wash.
I ended up, the wash, thank you. And, so I ended up writing a letter to the CEO of the health region and basically stating that she has nothing to back her, and she basically is halting everything, and so he replied to me, when was that, on
Well,
Friday?
Yeah, but he replied that there was engineered documents stating that we
Yes,
needed
which
these things, which is
there
news to
aren't.
me.
There aren't engineered documents.
Yeah, I'll look into our.
They're going to
people.
look after the roof now, whereas she was saying that we had to pay for the roof, our committee. So he endorsed the letter indicating that the SHA is going to have the roof fixed by November of 2024. So there's continued meetings going on, and he suggested in the letter that we're gonna pay for the wind wall, which
Yeah.
we've never ever said we're going to, Twin Lakes.
And
So, anyway, it's just
The hard part
frustrating.
about it in that letter, he said that there's engineered documents stating we need to do stuff with the roof and the wind wall. I have yet
Which
to
there
see
is, there's
any
nothing.
engineered documents. We have a person who is not an engineer, he's a project manager that has a belief that these things can't land by hospitals even though they've been doing it for years.
And she also does not believe that, helicopters should land beside a hospital. Well, that's your feelings, that's not, so I addressed that to the CEO as well, and she was apparently very quiet at last week's meeting, like, didn't say a word, so I think she's had her ears pinned back and
Administration heard anything new other than that? Did we find engineered documents on the wind wall and the roof? That's what I want.
I have not
Jamie's
heard.
there.
Oh,
Today, Jamie from SHA brought up, drainage, so now she's on the drainage.
oh Jesus.
There's drainage by the wind wall and things like that that she's concerned about, so.
Really.
Does Melford have a wind
Yeah.
wall?
No,
Does Melford have roof issues?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems like it's a tactic to delay more than it's a tactic to actually get it done. Right?
Yeah, there's
Trying to
drainage
get my head
questions.
wrapped around why they want to do this.
I think we should just proceed. Personally, I would like to see us send out,
The thing is, if they came back with engineered documents stating that the roof needed this and the wind wall was needed, then I'd listen. But right now, they're just trying to change what's already a signed agreement from 2018 on regards to this, so it's been really messy on that end. Because
Like that
right
one
now
there.
we're being held up by project manager's belief.
right?
Until I see engineered documents, that's the only thing I have to go on.
Exactly.
And I believe that's what our director over there, Jamie, believes. Too? I don't know, right? You guys are a little bit more deep into the technical side of things than I am.
Well, I believe that, ultimately it should have been caught right from the beginning. This project's been approved. We hired, an engineering firm, Ground Effects, to do, that's what they specialize in. That's why they were the only ones that can do it in Saskatchewan or whatever excuse. And then now there's hurdles. Like again, I was just on the emails today. regarding drainage throughout the gray beam. Based on existing elevations and lack of drainage, I think we should raise the wall as per his recommendations, stuff like that. So there's more added to this,
But there is no wall, right? There's no
Yeah.
engineered documents for a wall. Why are we talking about a wall? Tell
well,
us.
that's, but they want the wall now.
Based on what?
So, if in
Assumption.
fact there's engineered documents and they are, must be readily available, why aren't they bringing it out?
We are.
It has to be.
Yeah.
It should be as simple as just plugging in a